I want my daughter. Give her to me, or I will have no choice but to kill Luke and Alden.
You can't have her.
I'm being serious. I will kill Luke and Alden.
Okay, fine. You can have her. Lydia, come back with your mother.
Yeah, that deal doesn't work for us. Let's get something straight. Lydia, she's staying with our people.
Rick, I thought you got taken away by helicopters.
What? Just because I left the show doesn't mean I can't make a cameo every once in a while.
Hey, what's up guys? Spencer Rhodes here, and this is my review of The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 11. Holy fuck, I love this episode. This might be my favorite episode of the whole season so far. If it's not, it's probably in the top 3. I mean, the episode where Rick's departure happens was a great episode that I loved. It might be my favorite of the season, but this episode's probably in my top 3 out of the first 11 so far. And I've loved this entire season. I've just loved what Angela Kang has done. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this episode. So it starts with a flashback, and the flashback is after Rick gets killed, whatever, taken away by the helicopters. And it's before all the crazy stuff happens where Magna's group is discovered and Jesus dies and everything. And it starts with Ezekiel, Jerry, and Carol together, and Carol's hair is like half long, so that's an indication that this is a flashback. And then we get Jesus and Tara coming in, so you know at that point it's definitely a flashback because Jesus is still alive now. So you know, it just gives you a little bit of information about, you know, some of the things that happened between Rick's death and, you know, them finding Magna's group. I think whatever Michonne did that pissed everyone off had already happened by the time of the flashback, because someone said something about Maggie doesn't exactly like Michonne right now. So whatever happened that made Maggie super pissed off at Michonne, it already happened during this flashback. And it's a really cool flashback. It's cool to see Jesus again. He doesn't do much. He has a few lines. We learn a little bit about Tara wanting to, you know, be her own person and separate from some of the. So I think she's leaving Alexandria pretty much. It's her decision to go to Hilltop, and I love Jerry. I mean, I know everyone loves Jerry, but holy fucking shit. Every line he had in this episode, every word he said, everything he did in this episode made me laugh my ass off. I'm glad I watched this episode alone because I laughed like a crazy person. Everything everything that Jerry said made me laugh my ass off. Oh my god, he's so funny. He is so fucking funny. And I guess this is the first time where they say that Jerry and Nabila have kids. I don't think there's ever a point where it was shown that they had kids. So I guess Jerry and Nabila have two kids. So that was a cool little thing. That's got me worried about Jerry or Nabila. I feel like one of them's gonna be one of the heads on spikes, if not both of them. I mean, being happy, having kids, I mean, goodness. Maybe it's just I gotta move on from the first 8 seasons of the show, where basically if you were happy, you got killed. If you ever try to do the right thing, you got killed. Right now we're having characters that are happy and they're doing the right thing and they haven't gotten killed yet. That doesn't mean they won't get killed because there's the heads on spikes that's going to happen in episode 15. So I don't know, you know, Jerry being happy, Nabila being happy, them having kids, I don't know, you know, and I'm really worried about Ezekiel. Ezekiel was great this episode. Jerry was great this episode. It was really good to get some more dialogue from Jerry and Ezekiel, because I feel like they haven't had a lot of lines in this season, and this episode made up for that. And I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why they haven't had many lines, because they get a lot of lines in this episode. But Ezekiel too. I'm worried about Ezekiel. He and Carol. I love their banter. Carrie Payton and Melissa McBride were just amazing as a goofy married couple in this episode. I love them. And I'm really worried about Ezekiel. I'm really worried. Like that moment where Ezekiel and Carol, they kissed in front of the camera or whatever it's called, the projector. That had me like, oh man, Ezekiel's gonna die. They're too happy right now. And Ezekiel had a lot of character development in this episode and a lot of lines, and it just seemed like his character is almost complete. His story arc is almost complete, sort of similar to how Abraham's story arc was complete around season 6. Like, I got some Abraham vibes with Ezekiel. You know how in season 6, Abraham started to talk more and he started to be happier, and his life started to seem more complete, and he was happily in love with Sasha. Like, I got some Abraham vibes with Ezekiel. Like, oh, they're doing those things with the character that means they're about to get killed. So, yeah, I'm still thinking Ezekiel and Rosita are going to get their comic deaths. I still think Ezekiel and Rosita are not going to make it out of season 9 alive. Unfortunately. But, yeah, I loved everything with the other characters. Henry, I wasn't sure about the actor that plays him, but he won me over in this episode. He is definitely a better actor than Chandler Riggs as Carl. The actor that plays Henry is better. He just is. He's in this episode. I really realized that he has subtlety. He has subtlety. Like, Henry has subtlety. Chandler Riggs as Carl, he never had subtlety. Oh my God, he never had subtlety. But this actor that plays Henry, he's doing a really good job. All of his emotions and everything when he's trying to protect Lydia, and then when he lets Lydia go, and he's trying to understand it, and he talks to Daryl, and then he decides he can't live with it, and he goes after Lydia. The actor that played Henry did a really good job. I'm not sure about his first name. I know his last name is Lentz, but he was fantastic in this episode. And Samantha Morden as Alpha, she was really good too. She was really fucking good. The people that are making fun of her, I think she would have won a lot of people over in this episode. Now, I'm not saying her accent isn't a little bizarre, but Rick's accent is a little bizarre. Negan's accent is a little bizarre. There's nothing wrong with having a bizarre accent on The Walking Dead if you're doing a good job as an actor. And Samantha Morden is terrific. She's doing a great job as Alpha. I'm loving every second of her. She is just doing really well. I love her performance. This is the first episode where we really got to see her really, get some material, get some scenes. And I've been saying that for weeks, like, wait until the episode where she actually gets a lot to do, and then judge her. And she got a lot to do in this episode, and I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she was perfect. I love the accent at this point. I love the accent. I love everything about Samantha Morden's performance as Alpha. And Daryl's he's making the hard decisions. He's trading Luke and Alden for Lydia. I thought that maybe Daryl was going to be reckless and do something, and Luke and Alden were going to get killed, or one of them gets killed, probably Luke. Like, Alpha kills Luke to show that she means business, and then Daryl finally caves in and gives Lydia away, because Daryl's had a history of being reckless and stupid. Does anyone remember Glenn? Me, I do, So I was kind of surprised to see Daryl making the hard compromise, the difficult decision to actually trade Lydia back for Luke and Alden. And I was surprised that Luke and Alden survived the episode. Like I said, I'm still sort of adjusting to Angela Kang's style, because if Scott Gimple was still in charge of all these episodes, Luke and Alden would have died after saying 2 words. Because, like I said, doing the right thing gets you killed, being a good person gets you killed, and with Luke and Alden, I was like, they're too perfect. They're both really good people, really likable characters. They're both going to die. They both got taken hostage. There's no way they're both going to survive that. There's no way they're both going to make it out. But they did. they got traded back. They got to return to Hilltop. They're okay. Now, keep in mind, this does not mean that Luke or Alden are going to survive Season 9. They're still the heads on spikes. So they might have survived this episode, but episode 15, Luke and Alden might die, or one of them, who knows. They're still really good people. Like, I feel like they have to be punished for it. They have to be killed off. It's The Walking Dead. I do have one criticism, the stuff with the baby. Now, I loved most of it. I loved how all of that was filmed with Connie being deaf and Luke giving her sign language to rescue the baby and her barely rescuing the baby and her struggling in the cornfield, not being able to hear, fighting walkers and then getting rescued by Daryl at the last second. Then the baby being taken to Earl and Tammy, and Earl and Tammy had that little part at the beginning of the episode, and then it all goes full circle at the end where they get the baby. But pretty much my only criticism for this episode is one of the things Alpha says. Alpha talks about how, animals have babies and they're like animals, so it's okay to have a baby. But, when the walkers are coming and the baby's crying, and Alpha's just like, okay, just let the baby get eaten or let the baby die. She says something like, the baby's gotta die. It's nature, it's natural selection. I'm like, what? Bullshit. How's that natural selection? All babies cry. All babies cry. How's that natural selection? Alpha, if you were a baby and you would be crying, and then you would be killed by the walkers. Every baby cries. So what are you saying, that no baby should ever live? Then why do you have babies in the first place if you're going to let them get killed because they cry? All babies cry. That's not natural selection. That's bullshit. But, that's just me. I kind of felt like that was a little wonky. But I really loved most of this episode. Some of my favorite parts were just Jerry. Every single second Jerry was on screen made me laugh my ass off. Everything he said. Jerry is just great. I know everyone loves Jerry, but Jerry is just perfect. Hopefully he makes it to season 10. And I really hope Ezekiel makes it to season 10, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know. If Henry gets killed off, then that can be like the big sad thing, and it hurts Ezekiel and Carol, and they get character development, so they can make it to season 10. But if Henry survives, then yeah, Ezekiel's in trouble. Ezekiel's going to be one of the heads on spikes. And maybe Henry and Ezekiel die this season. I don't know. There are probably going to be 12 heads on spikes, like the comics. Also, I think the girl with glasses is going to be one of the heads on spikes because she just started getting scenes out of nowhere. So now it's a face that you recognize. So when you see her head on the spike, you're going to be like, oh, that's the girl with the glasses that started talking out of nowhere. I remember that face. I know who that character is. I just think it's one of those plot devices. But yeah, I think that we're gonna be losing some characters that we like, and I think it's gonna be Rosita, Ezekiel. I still think Luke, Alden might survive. I don't know, but yeah, overall, I just really, really, really love this episode. It's without a doubt one of my favorites of the season, in my top 3, without a doubt. I can't wait to rewatch it. I'm just so in love with this season. I'm so in love with the direction that the story's taking. Without Rick, without Maggie, those are huge, devastating losses. And Angela King is still just soldiering on and making this show better than it ever was. And I applaud her for that, and I can't wait for the next 5 episodes. Can't wait. Can't wait for the Heads on Spikes. I know it's going to be great. Can't wait to see Beta next episode. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it. It was just an amazing episode. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for this video. So what did you think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What are your criticisms? What do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments below, and don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. Right now we are at 369 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 400 in the next few months. So just remember, every subscriber counts, every bit of support matters, and is very, very appreciated. Can't wait to get to 400. But anyway, with all that said, I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye!